Hello everyone, welcome to another speedrun against Lostero, rated 1607. Let's see if we get a Scotch Gambit on the board. We do. So now we bring our bishop out and attack his king, the f7 square. He plays h6, which is a pretty passive move. We could just castle, and now our king's already in safety early in the game. He puts his bishop here. Now we have this tactical motif whenever they put their bishop to c5 of sacking our bishop and going queen d5. To do that, we need to get rid of this pawn in the center. So we're going to lure it away. He takes. This allows us to sack our bishop, check, and because the pawn moved, we can bring up our queen with check, regain the bishop, and he loses castling rights. It's not the end of the world for him. Okay, he doesn't even take it. He just leaves our bishop here. Okay. We could just retreat our bishop all the way back. Seems reasonable. Now we're just slicing through and staring at that diagonal, which is annoying for him. He is up a pawn, the one we sacrificed here. So if he leaves it there, we can equalize material with a nice position. He can't castle. So that's preferable, right? Instead, he hunts our bishop. Which is a possibility. But I'm just going to take our pawn back and equalize material. He can't castle. He takes. I can open up my rook or develop my queen. Both are interesting. I think I'll maintain my pawn structure and just replace the bishop like this. And okay, I didn't just win out of the opening, like win a rook or something, but white's a lot better because he has two pieces out, a queen out, a safe king. Black has one piece out and not a safe king, so and no pawn's presence in the center. So he tries to create one. It also stops my knight from hopping in, so it makes some sense. I think we just continue building up our position, bringing in stuff. We could prevent this pawn push and this knight development by going here, which is interesting. It also gives our knight a square. So it's a form of prophylaxis. However, if he goes here, he can't. And if he goes here, we can always push. So maybe we don't need to just yet. You know what? I'm going to go here. I'm going to develop, contest his only piece. And normally I wouldn't put it here because he could double isolate my pawns, which I definitely don't want. But since this king is here and it would open up my rook directly at his king, I'll give it a go. So he puts his bishop here, which walks directly into the move I wanted to make earlier, but now it comes for free, so now I'm definitely going to do it. So now he has to move his bishop again, and his knight has no squares. You see? And the bishop blocks the queen. Sometimes the queen wants this square to help protect light. But now it might be hard to protect light if we can attack it again. So our knight is dominated. We could bring in a rook opposite the queen. We could jump our knight in the center. Let's bring in a new piece. And he can't move his bishop, his knight, his bishop, his king, his rook, his rook. He can move his queen, I guess. He can move a pawn, that's true. That is certainly legal. I'm not going to pay it any mind. I'm going to ignore it completely, but it is legal. I think now is about the time we... Wait. The drawback of his move is it undefends that square. So does this do anything? He has to go here. Does that do anything? Not really. So let's move our knight. Try to get it to this super disruptive square because he didn't get the chance to move his d-pawn. So if we can keep it backwards by putting a knight there, or any piece, that's very disruptive towards his position. Because he can do what he needs to do and break out. So we like this plan, and if he takes, Mm, we take with the rook because he can't dislodge the rook into dark square bishop because he will have given it up. And the pawn stops the knight from coming to f6. So that's a possibility. Okay, he hits our queen, but who cares? I guess he wants us off the diagonal, but I wasn't able to find anything to coordinate with anyway on the light squares, so it doesn't really matter. He wants me to go here probably to get another tempo. It doesn't matter. If anything, this might improve our queen because now when we go here, we can retake with the queen. It does give him a chance to queen trade, though. So is there any way to build up our position? Can we play f4, f5? That would really be devastating. Also, if we push this, which looks unnatural because it freezes stuff, yeah, I don't want to do that. This bishop, it's not doing much. Maybe we can go here to get rid of this guy so we can put our knight here. Since our bishop's not doing anything. And I would like to play a 4 or 5, but then I have to move my knight. Can't go here, can't go here. I don't want to go through some long-winded process. I could go here. That's interesting. So this or this? I guess this because it comes with the additional plan of this. And it looks cool and kind of cool. Like if I could pick up my f-pawn and throw it off the board, I would. Because then the position would just be so much stronger for white. So he moves his queen. He's threatening the pawn, right? So we're taking note of that. It does undefend the bishop. It does get away from his king. And we wanted to play f4 anyway, which happens to defend it. Okay, he makes pawn moves on the side. He's just trying to get some type of activity for his pieces. Can't really blame the guy. But now we're ready to follow up with our plan of he can't take both the knights. So one of the knights gets to stay in there. And if a knight gets to stay in there, that's the best piece to have in that blockading square as a coordinator for the rest of the army to attack the king. Okay, he makes more random pawn moves that don't matter. Which knight do we put there? I guess let's move the one that's blocking the f-pawn so we can push the f-pawn. Yeah, it's some type of logic, right? And our position's so ridiculously overwhelming. We're not even up one pawn though. So he finally develops his knight. I guess it can go there. It can't even go here. And here we go with our plan. We just push. And we're just going to push again. He goes to the only available square. It offers a bishop trade, which doesn't help him. It does attack a pawn. And that pawn would attack the queen. So if you go here, you know, you could, but you go here. He gets a pawn. You can take either thing with check. So we take this with check, threaten the rook. If he takes back, I mean, this is all just better if you stop what he's doing first. It's just easier. So let's move the bishop out of the trade and with the defense. And this kind of forces the knight to have no squares, so now we can kick it, and he can't even trade it. So this is just like it moves the bishop in a way to restrict his activity, not even giving him an easy trade. It wouldn't be bad for us. We could definitely let him do it, but this stops both of his ideas. It demoralizes him, and it makes his knight really bad, right? And then we can just go along with our plan without giving him any activity. So let's take with the knight according to plan, free some space for our queen. It supports the pawn, and this position's over. This bishop is trapped, which means this rook is trapped. That's 8 points that will never play. So he's trying to activate those 8 points, but his king is looking awfully lonely. You can see how discoordinated his pieces are. Meanwhile, mine are nice and close in the same vicinity, trying to do the same thing. So if he goes here, I mean, no one really cares. I'll even sack a rook, so let's push and let's open up his king. If he pushes, I'll just take this with check, double check. So he'll likely, okay, he doesn't even do it. He just takes back. Interesting. This hits the knight, hits the pawn, threatens checkmate in 1. The pawn is pinned. I don't know what he does. And so instead of going h3 and kicking the knight, we're using the queen to kick the knight. And this is a lot better because you're also developing, creating multiple threats, and he hangs the checkmate in 1 because he wants to protect the knight. So he only saw one of my threats, not the other ones, which is why it was such a strong move. So let's go over the game. So we have a 1600 who finally goes into the Scotch Gambit. We play bishop c4, development, center. He makes a random move, so I'm out of theory. I don't actually know the best computer moves, I just know the ideas from here on out. Because h6 is not theory. So now I just king safety and development. And now, this I know what to do against. Had he not played h6, I would have played c3 anyway. So I'm just reverting back to the prior ideas that I know. So this is just center, development, and with a tactical trick. He takes, and now free stuff because we ruin his king's development. He should take the bishop. Just because we get the bishop back, big deal. You should still take our bishop. Because now I get to retreat it and have the diagonal. Your bishop's still in la-la land. I can still go here and attack it with a checkmate threat. That's why he tries to hunt it down. It looks very annoying. And we just ignore him and take back our material. So we just took back our material. We're not up anything. And the engine says +3, which is completely winning. Which is kind of crazy since it's not 100% easy to convert. I've used to have trouble with this stuff. They bring their knight out, they play d6. They kind of consolidate some of the times and you don't make use of your advantage. That happens, but here we converted. So he takes. This is a forced move. We have great development, great kings, great pawn structure. Everything's amazing, +3. And now development and center. And now improving move for free, +4. So the graph just keeps going up this entire time. No blunders, no mistakes, no inaccuracies, 97%. We now develop a new piece towards the center. We now improve a piece in the center, shifting over to the king side. And you can say, well, what about this rook? Do we want to get our last piece in the game? And it's like, no, you could put it here, but it doesn't do anything. There's no point in doubling. So you don't need to, you could use this rook as like a backup battery. If he ever challenges your rook, it's just a replacement backup battery. Or you can push the f pawn and activate it, which is what I did. But don't force yourself to move a piece just because you didn't move it yet. I mean, try to find a good use for it. So the knight, improving the knight is much better than improving the rook in human terms. So force move, he hits our queen, +5. Now improving a piece to the center, our position looks overwhelming, and it is. We're defending, so forced move and development. Improving a piece for free because these are all threats. Improving a piece, and you kind of can't leave it here, but if you take it, I just replace it, so you're screwed no matter what. Improving our position and prophylaxis, just stopping his ideas. Again, improving our position and prophylaxis, stopping his ideas. Force move. And now it's mate in 8 according to the engine. We just improve our position for free because this is deadly. He takes mate in 5, but he blunders immediate mate. So a perfect Scotch Gambit game. So you can see how it works against the 1600, some of the common tries they make, and some of the ideas. I hope this helps you if you want to try it. Don't be afraid. It can be tricky, but it can also be fun. Good luck in your chess and goodbye.